What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, OTB Nation? Welcome into episode number 305, because we're worldwide, of the award-nominated, honorably mentioned, number 9 NCAA ranked, and of course viewable on YouTube, Outside the Box podcast. It's KB and Deej coming at you. We got a fun, loaded week of lacrosse action to get into. We got a small week to recap, and we got a women's all-star game to talk about. But first things first, I need to know if Deej understood this week's music reference, as it is episode number 305.
That sounds familiar.
I would surely hope so, as somebody who works at a radio station.
I don't know, maybe the reference you're thinking of, because for whatever reason, the only thing, and that's something to do with Miami, ain't it?
Uh-huh.
Okay, we're getting somewhere. Man. What was the reference?
It's episode number 305, because we're worldwide.
Oh, yeah, I know that, but I can't tell you what it is right now. But yes, I know what
Can I hit you with a dale, if you will? We at the hotel, motel, Holiday Inn.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm following you, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's a breed of dog.
It don't matter.
Can I interest you in Pitbull? Anybody?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Pitbull. I told you. I know.
Mr. 305.
You right, bro. I'm telling you. I'm following you. I knew exactly what you were talking about.
So that's 303 and Pitbull that have been.
Don't act like I know. No.
303 was definitely.
Yeah. That one went. That was way up there. This one, I'm here. I got it. I was following along. I just couldn't tell you his name.
He's like, I'm picking up somewhat what you're putting down. It's like when you pick up sand at the beach, but some of it runs through your fingers.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. Like I got the premise, but like the most of it's falling through.
We got a fun show lined up for you guys, but before we get started, make sure you are following us on the socials at OTBLaxPod, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook.com/UndergroundSportsPHI. You can follow Deej on Twitter at SCS_NextGreat, and of course you can follow him on Threads. You can follow me on Twitter at KBIZZL311. You can follow me on Threads as well. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Leave a 5-star rating and review. It really does go a long way for helping us to continue growing this show. All of our shows on our network, you can find them just by searching Underground Sports Philadelphia or Outside the Box, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Let's get the Spotify followers up too. We got a nice chunk of Spotify followers right now. I think we're either number 1 or number 2 in the company, Deej, just behind the main pod, or number 1 with Spotify followers. Let's keep that running, because not too far behind us in our rearview mirror is our friends at F1 Underground. So we got to stay on the throne, at least in the top 3, because they are absolutely killing it in every facet of the game right now. But go subscribe. Be a friend, tell a friend, and of course, subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. That's where you get full video episodes of this podcast, every podcast on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. It's all on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. Need to get to 800 subscribers before the end of the month. We are currently at 715. So if we can get 85 loyal OTB listeners to subscribe, we'll be on our merry way and that much closer to 1,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. And be sure to get your merch from our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company, the best merch in the dang game. PHI Apparel Company will make sure that you stand out in the crowd, whether you're going to your favorite NLL teams games, watching lacrosse at home, gearing up for the PLL Championship Series, or your favorite college team as well. We got you covered with OTB merch, from shirts, hoodies, you name it. PHI Apparel Company is going to make sure you are styling and profiling no matter what season of lacrosse it is. Go to phiapparel.co, and when you go to checkout, use code UNDERGROUND for 10% off your order. It's the most effective and direct way to support everything we're doing here. If you want to see us in Denver potentially this summer, buying merch will certainly help with that. phiapparel.co, code UNDERGROUND, 10% off your order. Deej, how we doing, man? You're a national champion. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. I'm so happy to be a national champ. Wow. A lot of good things happened this year for Michigan football. And a lot of things I had never seen before. They won a big time bowl game. That's something I hadn't really seen Michigan do in my lifetime. As
the granddaddy of them all, if you will.
Man, against Alabama. That couldn't make me happy.
You sent Nick Saban into retirement.
Whoa. Stop.
Allegedly.
We're not.
Allegedly.
No, actually, I'm glad you brought that up. You and the rest of these Michigan fans out here need to understand we didn't do that. And we're not going to act like we did. We need to stop doing that. What we need to be saying out. Oh, I know you were, but I'm glad you brought it up. What we need to be going around and saying is we happen to be the team that beat Saban in his last bowl game.
Last game.
That's who we are. We are the last game and the last bowl game beater of Nick Saban. We can say that. We beat him in his last game and bowl game. That's it. We didn't send this man to retirement. Look at him. He's 72, and all
Looks
year
damn good for 72.
He does, but all year he was like this.
He's tired of the NIL ban.
That man couldn't wait. And honestly, I think a little piece in the back of his mind was like, yo, we win the Natty, I'll come back. And they didn't. So he's like, I'm out of here.
That's your tired take. Here's my wired take. You have opened the opportunity for Nick Saban to now go coach Alabama club lacrosse.
Yeah, you're that's not going to happen. But now I am scared that Belichick might just go and try his hand at Alabama.
I don't think
so many people have been asking for.
I don't think he's going there. I think he's going to another place that starts with an A until he's ready to go to the Chesapeake Bayhawks.
Where's the other place that starts with an A?
The Dirty Birds.
You. Uh-huh. Let me go ahead and keep James Conner in my fantasy league right now then.
Not those Dirty Birds.
Oh.
The ATL.
Anyway, it's amazing to be a national champion.
This fucking guy.
We beat Ohio State 3 years in a row. We're Big Ten champs 3 years in a row. The lacrosse team.
I thought it was 4 years in a row you beat Ohio State. It's only 3.
Yeah, it's just 3. 4 will be next year. No worries. The Michigan lacrosse team is getting better. So yeah, I'm a happy fan right now. My Packers somehow wiggled their way into a playoffs, which
it's Go Pack Go weekend, baby.
Which I can tell you at the beginning of the year, I told you, and we talked about this 1,000 times, one of two things would happen. The Packers would either somehow wiggle their way in and kick the Vikings into the cesspool with the Bears, or we were going to see the Lions win and the Vikings were going to be second with the Packers at the bottom, Bears in third.
But what did I tell you? I said the Packers were going to make the playoffs.
I know, but halfway through the season, what did it look like? It looked like the Packers were going to be at the bottom of the NFC North, and things were trending the way I thought, and then they all flipped back. So I technically wasn't wrong at all this year. It looked really
But then
bad.
You were.
No, because I said one of two things would happen, and one of those two things happened. So therefore, I was not wrong. And when you look at the trend, beginning of the year, I was like, man,
we love a hedge.
They're going to lose. These Packers are going to lose, and it's happening. And then it clicked in my head, right? I was telling you about my fantasy team, and how they lost every time the Packers won. I lost in fantasy, so then I prayed that I would win a fantasy game while also allowing the Packers to win, and that happened. And that's when we made the change, because I could start cheering for the Packers to win while also cheering for my fantasy team to win, knowing that it wasn't one or the other anymore. And look at where we are.
Well, you know I am the biggest Packers fan this weekend, so.
Oh, we ain't got no shot.
I'm dialed in with you.
We ain't got no shot.
No, that's not how we're entering the playoffs, DJ.
Man, bro, listen. The
We're
storyline,
putting cheese on our heads, and we're calling ourselves cheeseheads.
The storyline is set up like this: Mike McCarthy finally gonna beat the Packers in the playoffs. The Lions are finally gonna win a playoff game, and it's gonna be against Stafford, who they deserve to beat.
I'm about to Tony Reale you and butte you like around the horn.
And listen, your Eagles and Bucks game, that's gonna be the best game of the round.
We ain't here to talk about football.
Because we don't know what's going to happen.
I do it enough already.
We don't know what's going to happen in that game.
I'm in FF right now, football fatigue. Let's kick it.
Just know it ain't happening this week. I would love for it to happen. I would love for it to happen, but it's not going to.
I am manifesting it to happen. So, just like I'm manifesting one hell of a week of NLL action on deck for us. But before we get into that, we got to recap the weekend that was. It was a short weekend in the NLL last weekend where we had 4 games that all delivered a variety of results. We had the Albany FireWolves continuing to be a bunch of absolute dogs. They are 5-0. They take down Halifax 12-10. Georgia takes down Panther City 12-10. Buffalo takes down Colorado 12-8. And then the Philadelphia Wings just no-showed against the New York Riptide, 16-9. I was at the Wings Riptide game. Paul Day had his availability after the game, and he was very blunt, very honest. He said the young guys stepped up. Taggart Clark was probably one of the few bright spots in the game for the Wings. He had a hat trick, his first career hat trick. But he said the veterans flat out stunk. Those were his words. Blaze wasn't happy, as he never is after a loss. Don't blame him. It was his first game back. He looked good. He looked healthy for the most part. Holden Catoni looked healthy as well. He spoke to the media as well. I always love asking the guys when it's their first game in Philly as a member of the Wings what it's like being part of the home team rather than the visitor, and they're like, it's much better being part of this side than it is being a visitor. But the overall vibe of that game was the Wings just did not have the speed to keep up with the Riptide. Everything for the Riptide went like 110% perfect. Every shot was falling for them. I think the biggest punch in the gut, if you're a Wings fan or you're a player on that team, Cam Dunkerley, goalie for the Riptide. I don't know if you saw this, Deej. He had double pink eye. He had double pink eye in that game. Played unbelievably. I don't know how that's allowed, because pink eye is obviously highly contagious.
They finna tell him he can't play unless he got double pink eye.
But Dunks had 31 saves and only allowed 9 goals with double pink eye.
Next level stuff. Next level stuff, bro.
That's like some like cartoon supervillain shit.
That's crazy. Like literally, like how do you do anything with double pink eye? I've never even had pink eye. I don't want to think about, I don't want to think about not seeing. It sucks. When it comes to health, I've done a very good job. I'm outside of concussions. Now those I can't escape.
Maybe that knocked your eye sockets around a little bit and prevented the.
I'm probably gonna have CTE. Like it's bad, bro.
I can't have you ended up like AB or Chandler Jones, bro.
Hey, I did have a year. I had a year in the trenches. I was a left tackle in high school, bro. 6 foot, all 6 foot 215 of me.
Sheesh.
Yeah, so that, and then all the times I've taken shots to the head in lacrosse and just natural headbutts.
Oh, I thought you were talking about shots.
Oh no. I don't take too many of those. I didn't tell you. I'm going dry this year.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Breaking news. Hold on. Hold the phone. Everybody, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're not, I highly recommend it. We've got breaking news.
Crazy. It is not like that. That's crazy. That makes it sound like I'm an alcoholic. I'm just going dry this year. Just unnecessary purchases sometimes, you know?
That's crazy. Breaking news, everyone.
But
if it's raining this year, DJ's not outside.
That's facts.
Full dry.
Hey, sugar melts, bro. So, yeah. If
it's raining, cancel your plans with DJ because he's not coming.
Hey,
he's not going to be there.
I'm not going to be there. Yeah, but not like it.
Back to your regularly scheduled programming, everyone.
Right. Week 6 was, in fact,
the other thing I do want to say about the Riptide game and the Wings game. 2 things actually. One, brilliant job by the Wings, classiest organization. Tribute video for the Moose, Kyle Matisse. I said it pregame before I didn't even know they were doing it, but I said if there was somebody that they were gonna do this for, as like kind of the first one that I can remember, along with Kevin Crowley would be another one. It would be Kyle Matisse, first captain of the team being back in Philly. Awesome tribute, job well done. The Wings, all of Philadelphia, really, I have to say, like, does a phenomenal job with players coming back, whether it's to play for the team or they're coming back as a visitor. The tribute videos, the pomp and circumstance for that is always an 11 out of 10. Like, they just knock it out of the park every single time, every single sport. So kudos to the Wings and shout out to Moose, Kyle Matisse. Also have to confirm that Jeff T clearly listens to the podcast.
You think
because
so?
he was on his Mike Trout shit, but his team won. He said, "We can't lose this week, boys."
I don't know. He was just balling, bro.
9 points, scored his 100th career goal. I was waiting, dude. I was waiting for the Wings to make a comeback because I had like the Mike Trout Shohei Ohtani tweet mocked up in my brain about Jeff Teat, and then it just was never able to come to fruition. Jeff Teat, 9 points, scores his 100th career goal, and the Riptide lose.
And I'm glad because we had a very embarrassing video of me you were going to post if the Wings won.
I mean, that's still an
sure.
evergreen video.
I'm sure that's going to get posted later. The people will see it and go, "Oh, that's the one he's talking about." Facts.
That's an evergreen video. That was a stinker of a game for the Wings, and hopefully quick turnaround will help erase that one. Albany is...
That's who I was going to bring up.
Good, man. They're good.
I'm
here to say it. Albany's good.
I mean, I said it last week. You ain't want
I was leaning it, but I thought Halifax had the juice to get the job done, but I stood corrected.
You need more than juice. You got to outwork them dudes across from you. And Albany's not letting anybody outwork them. Like, I'm trying to think if there's a team out there that Georgia right now.
Oh, what a coincidence.
I know, right? But like, that's the one team right now that I can say, like, them and Toronto. And not because Toronto's undefeated, but when you watch Toronto play right now, they get after everyone. Like, they play rough, they play aggressive, they go back and forth. And Toronto's fluid right now, too. I don't know if, like, you noticed
it's truly the top 4 teams in the league. Well,
yeah.
the top 3 after Albany that I would say would give them a run for their money, if not beat them, it's Toronto, Georgia, Rochester. Because Rochester's just scoring.
Yeah, like you can't stop them from scoring. You just have to outscore.
You can only
them.
hope to contain them.
Not even contain. You just have to score more than they do. Like, actually, that's funny because
That's the name of the game.
I asked the boys basketball player yesterday or Tuesday while I was doing a game for girls. I was like, "Yo, what happened? Over break? Like, how'd you guys lose this game?" Dead ass. This kid looks me in the face. His response was, "Their points was more than ours." I just was like, all right, bro. And I just let him walk away because I don't even want to go back and forth with you after that. That literally. But like Rochester, you simply just have to outscore them. And wow. I mean, but yeah, I'm really excited to continue seeing Albany play Halifax. I mean, that was a great game. Halifax did, in fact, give them a run for their money. But when it came down to it, the last few minutes of the game, Albany was ready, kicked it another gear. And they were there for it, 12-10, which I love to see is close games. Georgia, Panther City. I didn't think Panther City was going to be that close to Georgia. I thought this was going to be closer to a 4 or 5 goal game. That was just in my head based off of how I've seen Georgia play throughout the rest of the season. But I should have known better with Coach TK than to think they were going to get blown out like that. So, yeah, that was also an exciting game to watch. I watched a lot more lacrosse this weekend than I had in the past. What happened with your Colorado boys?
Well, I picked Buffalo to win that game.
I know you did. I picked Colorado.
I think something is up with that defense for whatever reason. They traded another they made another trade this week, which we'll get to. But it was on the offensive side, I'm pretty sure. They're missing. I was talking to somebody in the press box at the Wings game. They're missing Ryan Lee offensively. Like, it's so obvious. Like, Eli McLaughlin and Connor Kelly combined for 6 goals. The rest of the team had 2, which was Tim Edwards having 1 and Zed Williams having 1. I don't know what it is. What do you think it is? Obviously, as a player and a coach, what do you think it is that's so different with Zed indoor versus outdoor? Where, like, outdoor, it's always Zed, like, kind of in control. I don't know what it is with the Mammoth. Like, Zed needs, like, 3 guys to be out for him to be, like, the alpha on offense.
There's I think it's got a lot to do more with spacing and the amount of teamwork you have to do in box than you do in field. Like, I don't think a lot of people notice, is Zed good off ball? Yes, because he's Zed Williams. He can catch and shoot. He can score. He can lose a guy and make a move, which is what he tries to do in box. He doesn't like to handle a lot in box. But you get him out in the field, and he's a dodging monster. All he wants to do is get the ball and dodge. Not that he won't pass the ball, not that he doesn't run the offense, but he gets the ball in a position to dodge, he's going 100%. And everybody on the field, everybody in the stadium knows he's going. And half the time you can't stop him. It's the freedom he gets out in the field to do what he's the best at, which is create his own shot. That's plain and simple. Zed Williams is good at creating his own shot. And then if it happens to be where they slide early, he'll dump it off because now he's creating shots for others. But realistically, the best part of Zed Williams' game is creating his own shot and scoring off of it. You don't really get to do that as much in box. It's a lot of teamwork, a lot of pick and roll, a lot of ball movement, a lot of body movement, which isn't really suited to his game. But then when you get in a position where 3 or 4 guys are out, guys are setting him screens for him to come over top and shoot. So now it is kind of almost like he's creating his own shot. So it's just a scenario piece, which you just need to that's a coaching thing now. Put them in scenarios to be successful. Okay, if that's the case, if Zed needs to be in that kind of position, put him low left side, set him a down screen, he comes over top and shoots. How many goalies are saving an overhand laser from Zed from what, 5 yards out, not many. Put them in positions to win. The coaching staff in Colorado isn't really doing that right now. Not only with Zed Williams, but with other guys on the offense as well.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing with Colorado, like, they need more from Tyson Gibson. Your former number 1 overall pick with the Riptide. You make the trade, made a ton of sense for both teams. Gives Tyson a fresh start. Tyson Gibson's too talented to only be contributing 2 assists in a game and 4 shots on goal. Like, that kid has pure raw talent that is not being met to. It's like those memes where it's like player talent versus, expectation. The expectation right now is here. It should be here for Tyson Gibson. Like, that dude is pure raw talent. They need to utilize him more in the offense. Connor Robinson had an off night in this game, only 1 assist. I also think the other portion of this, it was pretty much the Mammoth trying to run the offense through 3 guys. Eli McLaughlin got his. He had 5 points, contributed, but he had 16 shots on goal. Converted 3 of them for goals. Going 3 of 16 is tough. And I know Matt Vince is a dog. That Buffalo defense is good. But, like, when you're taking those shots, that tells me you're trying to play catch-up more than you're trying to, like, take the best available shot. And for most part, in this game, Colorado was trying to play catch-up. They were down, 9-0 at one point. And then the other stat is Zed went 1 goal, 1 assist, 11 shots on goal. Like, you have to convert more accurate and more decisive shots. We talked about this with the Riptide last week, and look what they did this week. They ran the shot, and it's very similar to what the Wings did. The Wings were trying to play catch-up. They were down 4-0 at the beginning of the game, and very uncharacteristic of Joe Resetarits, of Mitch Jones, Ben McIntosh, Blaze. Not as much, but Blaze did in a couple instances. Like, they were using, like, the first 10 seconds of the shot clock to try and go score and try to play catch-up, and it's like, Paul Day, I think, made a great analogy for anybody who doesn't really get the ins and outs of, like, where score differential is during a game of box lacrosse. Like, when you're down, 4-0, 4-1, it's like a 3-1 hockey game where, like, 1 goal is not going to get you back in the game. So you have to be more precise. You have to be more calculated with the shots you're taking, not run out your possession 10 seconds into it. And it feels like, from not being able to watch this game, it feels like that's kind of what was happening, just because of the scenario of being down 9-0 to a high-octane Buffalo offense that, again, 12 goals most nights can win you a game in the NLL. But I also think Buffalo expects more from themselves, and 12 goals isn't the standard that they want to reach. I'm sure they're happy to get this win. It was a must-win for them. But I think a lot of these guys expect more of themselves and expect higher outputs across the board. Shout out to the boy, Brad McCulley, player of the game for the Bandits, follows the pod. Had himself a night, 6 points, 2 goals, 4 assists. Josh Byrne did his thing. Dane Smith did his thing. Chase Frazier did his thing. Shout out to the boy, 2-2 for the Bandits. But I think that was the issue for the Mammoth. They were down 9-0 and just trying to play catch up and trying to force things more so than being calculated like we typically know them to be.
There's a little bit of that. But it just seemed like they weren't going to have a good day from the very beginning of the game. Like, the first couple of shots just weren't going. The offense was stagnant, and they just, like, looked frustrated. And I was like, all right, I see where we're going with this one. So, like, I kind of saw it coming from very early in the game. I kind of just was holding out hope that they'd be able to come back. But realistically, it probably was something that they needed. Sometimes you really do just need to be blown out for you to realize what's going on around you.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, Buffalo gets the championship rematch W. And the standings after a short week, not too much change, but this is what it's looking like. Albany still at the top at 5-0. Toronto still sitting at 3-0. They're back in action this week as every team has at least one game. Georgia at 4-1. Rochester at 3-1. San Diego at 2-1. Halifax, Buffalo, both at 2-2. The Wings are at 2-3. Calgary, Saskatchewan, Calgary at 1-2. Saskatchewan, Colorado, Las Vegas, Panther City, New York, and Vancouver, all at 1-3. So half of the league has one win.
Yes.
Which is wild. I'm looking here who has the. So Albany took back the most goals for crown as they were in action, and Rochester was not, but not too far behind. Georgia at 59, but Albany with 67 goals for this season, leading the way. And giving up the most right now is the Philadelphia Wings. 67 goals against.
I feel so wild for not saying my league pass team would make the playoffs. As they're currently sitting at 4-1.
I mean, I said the same thing about mine, but they're not in great shape. And
yeah, so like it's different. It's different.
Speaking of your league pass team too, Miles Thompson was activated this week.
I saw that. I did. That's going to be very exciting to see. Another wrinkle in what has been a fantastic offense this year. Like you said, 59 goals on the year already. For what? Third in the league?
Yeah.
Behind Rochester and Albany?
Behind Toronto and Albany.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. Are you talking about goals? I'm sorry.
Yeah, goals.
Yeah.
Okay, I was right.
Looking at some of the transaction wire, anything of note? Yes, Mac O'Keefe, placed on the active roster for the San Diego Seals. Return of the Mac. He's back. The Philadelphia Wings signed Nick Rowlett to the practice player list. Thank goodness. They need it. I'm happy for Nick. I think this is a good opportunity for him. I think his style of face-off translates well to the box game. I'm sure you can attest to that as well, being the Michigan man that you are. How stoked are you that Nicky on the track is getting a shot with the Wings?
I mean, it just continues to prove that Michigan lacrosse is getting good. But also just the skill set that he brings. He's a tough guy, a hard guy, a guy that will fight until there's nothing left to give, will take hard hits, and will continue pushing through it. But he has the skills to be successful at the stripe, but also provide a short boost on offense or stick around and play some solid defense. He's a face-off athlete. He's a guy that can give you more than just face-off. So I really like him coming into this team and filling somewhat of a void after they just got roasted this weekend at the strike.
And have been all season, honestly.
You gotta do something about it with the way things are trending. And I only bring that up because that brings me an opportunity to bring up my team. Calgary has not been doing well so far. They're sitting at 1-2, but they're right behind Philadelphia, who they probably jump in terms of score differential next week if they win this week, or if Philadelphia somehow loses, they'll jump them for sure. But Calgary's heading into a very great stretch in their schedule. Vancouver, who is below them in the rankings. Colorado, who is below them in the rankings. They get a bye week the following week. And then after that, they play New York, who is also below them in the rankings. And then they finally play Toronto in a back-to-back the following day after playing New York, who is the first team that's above them in the schedule. So their next 4 games are against teams that are at their level or lower. After winning their first game a couple weeks ago, they can now take that momentum, and before they know it, they could pass the Wings. So this move could be one that keeps the Wings in playoff contention or in a spot for in a space to compete for a playoff spot, or it could have them in a place where they're on the outside looking in if they didn't make this move. So I think people need to kind of just have a broader look at the Nick Rowlett signing and what it could be or what it can stop from, instead of kind of just bashing him for being a face-off guy pretty much.
Yeah, I want to look up something too, because it's a huge signing in a sense for the Wings, that for a very funny reason, like it feels like the NLL is trending in a way where you need a face-off guy that's not just, a transition player, not just a defenseman taking face-offs for you. You need like a guy. I mean, look at Albany. They've got Joe Nardelli. You look at what the Wings had and what San Diego now has with Trevor. You look at Toronto with TD. You look at Halifax with Jake Withers. You even look at Rochester with Joe Post. Like, having a face-off guy is contributing to elite offensive production in the NLL. And I think getting a Nick Rowlett on this team, who we saw obviously professionally for the first time last year with Chaos, have a very good rookie season with Chaos. And I'm pulling up just his stats to check something here to see, because in a couple weeks, who do the Wings face off against at home? It's a homecoming for number 9, Trevor Baptiste, playing against the Seals. You need somebody at the stripe who can at least hold their own against Trevor Baptiste, and you can't afford to get worked against a team like San Diego at the stripe and provide them almost infinite possessions with the offense that they have.
I mean, 5 of the top 6 teams have a legitimate face-off guy. Albany's got Nardella. Toronto's got TD. Rochester has Post. San Diego has Trevor. And then Halifax has Jake Withers.
And arguably, I know it's counteracting what we're saying, but like Jeremy Thompson is a legit NLL face-off athlete. So you can say Georgia has a guy.
Yeah, if you want. So that's 6. The first one you run into that doesn't is Buffalo, and right behind them is Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. And then you look at the rest of them: Calgary, Saskatchewan, Colorado, Las Vegas, Panther City, New York, and Vancouver. Whoa. Maybe the league split right in half based off of who has a face-off guy and who doesn't. Maybe it means something to have a good face-off guy. Or maybe all us face-off lovers are just crazy and don't know what we're talking about. But I think the proof is in the pudding. This could be a very good move for Philadelphia when you look at how the league is trending, with teams getting possession and having a direct correlation with how much they're scoring and winning games versus teams who aren't getting that many possessions and they're scoring in the amount of games they're winning.
I'm trying to pull up Nick Rowlett's stats against Atlas last year to see how he fared against Trevor.
And I mean, it's not coincidental that the only 2 undefeated teams are the 2 teams that have the top 2 face-off guys in the league right now. TD's number 1 in terms of percentage, and right behind him is Nardella at 2. And Withers is now probably in second, maybe, after last
Jake Withers
weekend.
having a fucking unreal start to his season.
I say after last weekend, he's probably second now, but they're still 2 and 3 behind Trevor, TD, who's undefeated with Toronto.
Yeah, so I think having a guy like Nick Rowlett on this roster for the Wings is going to be huge for possessions with the elite. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Wings fan and I cover the team. Deej will agree with me. The Wings have an upper echelon elite offensive core of Mitch Jones, Blaze, Holden Catoni, Ben McIntosh, Joe Rest-Terrence. Like, stack those 5 up against almost any 5 in the NLL, and most of the time you're taking what the Wings have. There's very few that I think wouldn't be able to hold their own there. So I think having somebody that's going to get you possession, like the Rips had 100 loose balls. 100. That is a not too common practice in the NLL to have 100 plus loose balls in a game. The Wings needed help at the stripe. I'm glad Nick Rowlett is on the team. I think it's going to make a world of difference. The other big splash this week that happened to finish off week 6 with a bow, the Colorado Mammoth traded Brett McIntyre to your Calgary Roughnecks for Thomas Vila.
I saw that, and I was like, I liked it in terms of for Calgary, because I liked, we need another wrinkle in offense. Like we can score, but at the same time, they're having a very tough time setting things up sometimes, not being stagnant sometimes, moving the ball. There's just, and sometimes just throwing in a new guy who's just like, okay, I need to figure out what I'm going to do here, does just that. He goes in and does something that people aren't expecting him to do, and it just clicks for everybody. Those things randomly happen in the game of lacrosse. That is what I'm hoping Calgary is able to get here, as a guy that comes in and just shakes things up enough for the team to go, okay, we need to move more. We need to move our bodies more. Let's move the ball more. Let's take smarter shots. Just get the flow going, and sometimes a disruption in the current flow is what you need, and that's exactly what this is. And I feel like Colorado's kind of in that space maybe that Halifax was in last year, where they're like, we're missing something but don't know exactly what it is, so we're going to make some moves and see if we can figure it out. Because that's kind of what it looked like Halifax was doing. It was like, something's not working here, but we don't know what, so let's just start doing stuff. And that kind of looks like where Colorado's going, and better to do it early than late, because I felt like that was people's main problem with Halifax, was they felt like the decisions they made were too late in the year, so it didn't make sense. Colorado's doing them early, so maybe you're able to salvage your season the earlier you get to making moves. So I'm kind of just feeling things out in terms of transactions with Colorado, as it seems like they're still trying to fill out the roster and the team for the year.
Yeah. So we'll see how things play out as we move to our Week 7 preview. It's brought to you by our pals over at Tomahawk Shades, the best small batch eyewear in the game. From sunglasses to blue light glasses to those ski goggles that look absolutely mint, and prescription lenses. Tomahawk Shades has you covered for just the best quality glasses at a fraction of the price of the big eyewear companies. You guys hear us every single week. Deej and I wear them when we're out on the road. Deej is wearing them on the sidelines when he's coaching. I'm wearing the blue light glasses a ton while I'm editing, watching lacrosse every weekend on TV. It really does help your eyes and protects your eyes from those harsh blue light rays. Go to TomahawkShades.com or download the Tomahawk Shades app. And when you fill up your cart, get everything you need. Use code USP for 25% off your order at TomahawkShades.com. It's TomahawkShades.com, code USP for 25% off your order, which part owner of the company, now Lacrosse Hall of Famer, K18, Kyle Harrison. Ever heard of him? Shout out to Tomahawk Shades for being one of the best. Been working with them for years, and truly one of the best products that we get the opportunity to have on our faces every single day. Let's move to Week 7, Deej. The schedule is loaded. First time this year that every team will be in action. We got 2 games on Friday, starting at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time in Halifax. We got a battle of rivals. It's Toronto at Halifax. 10 p.m. Eastern Time, we've got the Joe Tsai Bowl, San Diego versus Las Vegas, in Las Vegas. And then Saturday, full slate of lacrosse. 6 games. We've got the Pegula Bowl as well. Buffalo versus Rochester in Rochester. I'll be at the Wells Fargo Center on Saturday night at 7 p.m. as Saskatchewan comes to town to take on the Wings. 7:30 p.m. on Long Island, the Riptide hosting Panther City. 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time as well down in Georgia. It's a battle between Albany and the Swarm. 9 p.m. Eastern Time, we got another rivalry on deck. San Diego at Colorado. And then 10 p.m., the nightcap, another rivalry. For the first time, the the Calgary Roughnecks playing against their former coach and the Vancouver Warriors. What are you looking forward to this week? Week 7 is it's truly a kid in a candy store type vibe.
Yeah, let me go back that week. Sorry, I was looking at week 10 from earlier when I was scrummaging through Calgary's schedule. All right, I'm back. Obviously Toronto Halifax, because I got to see if Halifax bounces back from a tough loss last week to Albany that I believe they had in their hands before they kind of let it slip in the last few minutes. To then face another undefeated team in Toronto that's rested and ready to go and has had really no problems and should be getting Tom Schreiber back as he's now not getting married anymore.
Well, he had a baby, so he's on paternity leave still, I believe.
Long? Is he going to take the year off? Like, that's annoying.
It's not been, as of this recording, Tom Schreiber has not been activated from the pup list.
So he will not be coming back, but still they're scoring at an unbelievable clip. They're getting the ball at an unbelievable clip as TD's leading the country in face-off percentage. And when you got a guy like Nick Rowlett in the back playing unbelievable, yeah, you're going to do well. So that's game number 1 to watch. And with Halifax always playing earlier than everybody else, why not? I just wish that there were more games going on Friday because Saturday is going to be insanity. Once again, thank you to myself for buying myself an Xbox and having multi-screen to watch during all of these games. Buffalo Rochester, is Buffalo back, and is Rochester really as good as they seem to be?
Yes.
It literally yes is the
to both.
and we'll find out come Saturday at 7. So I'm obviously excited for that one. Albany, Georgia might be game of the week. I'm not 100% sure. There's a couple candidates up here.
I think it's between that and Toronto and Halifax. And
I personally think Calgary, Vancouver could be a game of the week candidate as well. That may be a little personal bias there.
That's the Sickos game of the week.
It just might be because
I should say the East Coast Sickos game of the week.
Yeah, because 10 o'clock on a Saturday, I'm gonna be up. But shout out to W Energy, I'm gonna be up. But
we gonna be shaking that up real quick. Code Underground for 10% off.
But I want to see is Georgia is Georgia for real, and how long is Albany going to be undefeated? Those are the questions we have to answer. And then obviously I need Calgary to continue moving forward and getting another win on the board. And who else will we want to beat to get our second win of the year than Kurt? So I mean, I'm here for this week. I got 5-6 games that I really want to watch. And then I mean, is there ever a bad game when you're watching the NLL? Not in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm excited for Wings in Saskatchewan to see the Wings kind of throw last weekend out the window and move forward and try to improve and get back to 500. I'll be there. Also, from here on out, obviously last week was my first Wings game of the year, so kind of figuring out the vibe. New press setup as well. A lot more people in the press room, which is a good thing, that people are getting in and covering the team. Bad from a sense of I just got to maneuver my way in a little bit more and have a better angle. But dedicating this week on out, we'll have video footage of Paul Day and player press conferences on the socials, so stay tuned for those. Not sure if it'll be on Twitter just because of video lengths, but we'll try to clip it up if there's anything good for Twitter, and then obviously on the gram, on TikTok, and Threads, we'll post those bad boys for you guys because we get that access, so stay tuned for those. Win, loss, or tie, whatever it may be. Buffalo Rochester is going to be a ton of fun. Also, speaking of Buffalo, shout out to the boy Chris. If you missed it, we did an unboxing video. OG listener, one of the best, sent us the Bandits replica banner for their championship and some authentic buffalo sauce straight from Buffalo. We're going to have our own mini rafters in the studio. at some point with all the banners we have, Teach. If we keep having fans in those markets wherever the NLL champion resides, because we got the Mammoth banners, we got Buffalo now, we got a retired Kevin Finneran banner from the Wings last year as well.
Or check this out. We finally get an airline to sponsor us, and we just end up flying if we
That
don't have
too.
anybody there. We'll figure out how to get one no matter the case. Trust me. I got
At
this.
some point in our careers, we will have, at least as of now, the way that the league stands, 15 champion banners.
If I have to sacrifice a little bit of my time and money, I'll make it happen.
And I'm just saying, same instance from the PLL. If the Wings ever win a championship, I better be on one of them parade floats. Me and Alex McIntyre, bro. Been there since the jump. We deserve
to go.
Facts. We deserve to be on one of those floats. I think Toronto-Halifax is going to be electric, especially it's in Halifax. It's always unreal there. Albany, Georgia has my brain in a pretzel. I don't know how that game's going to turn out, but it's going to be wild. And I always think San Diego, Colorado is a phenomenal matchup, so I'm excited for that game as well. But this is an awesome week of NLL lacrosse. Let us know in the YouTube comment section the games you're excited about. And I think without any further ado, let's head on over to the pick pond and feed out our NLL Week 7 Picks of the Week beer money, brought to you by Kenwood Beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's a refreshing light beer right here in the backyard. Only 4.1% ABV, just 120 calories, only 8 grams of carbs. And you guys can go to kenwoodbeer.com. Use the Kenny Finder. Hughes got Kenny's on tap this weekend in the Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, New Jersey, and Maryland areas. Enjoy the NFL playoffs. If you're at the Wells Fargo Center, you can also get Kenny's for the Wings game this weekend. You can also get it at your local liquor stores in those markets. Must be 21 or older to enjoy and consume. And, of course, please drink responsibly. Deej, let's kick it. We start in Halifax as the Thunderbirds look to improve to 3-2. Toronto looking to stay unbeaten on the road this time. How do you see this rivalry matchup shaking out?
I can't go against the stats right now. I can't. Toronto scoring good. They got Nick Rowlett between the pipes, and they're getting the ball at an unbelievable clip due to TD Erlin. I got to stick with that trend. And even though Halifax lost a tough one last week, and they're going to be back at home, and that place is going to be rocking, I trust Toronto to continue coming out on top until I see something different.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Toronto has the spark and the flow working for them right now offensively. Not that Halifax doesn't, but I think Toronto is playing just like mistake-free lacrosse and has the ability to be a team to slow down Jake Withers at the stripe with somebody like TD. So that's going to be a fascinating matchup just in general to watch in that game is TD versus Jake Withers. But I think it's going to be a close game. Wouldn't shock me if it's overtime, but I'm going to take Toronto as well to get the dub, which we then move to the Friday nightcap. It's Friday again, and Saturday, Sunday. What? San Diego, Las Vegas, in Vegas. I got to go with the Seals here to get a dub. I think they have the offense to do it. We haven't seen Vegas's offense click full cylinder just yet. So for that reason, I got to go with the Seals.
I agree. I think it comes down to what teams have done so far this year. We've seen San Diego play some tough games, and the only team that's beaten them is a team that's ahead of them in the standings, and that's Georgia. So I don't expect that to change. And Las Vegas just hasn't shown that they had the same spark as they did last year. Really, like they looked really good last year. And I thought they were going to take a step up, but not really seeing it yet this year. So San Diego it is.
I was talking to Casey because apparently one of the F1 drivers put that song on one of the radios last year, and it's an F1 thing that is Friday again. I want to just tweet that every weekend for NLL and PLL because all the games are always on the weekends.
They are on the weekends. You're right.
There's very few Thursday or Monday games, if at all, this year. So it's always Friday, true. Saturday, Sunday. So that video plays perfectly for lacrosse season.
We might have to be dropping that.
So stay tuned for that one. We might have to like Photoshop the NLL and PLL logos on the guys' heads.
You might be on to something.
Let's move to upstate New York, the Pagula Bowl, Rochester and Buffalo in Rochester. This one's tough. Buffalo gets the win last week, a much needed win. Rochester's playing great lacrosse right now. Have only lost to the Seals in a absolute shootout of a game. I like the way Rochester's offense is just clicking right now. I think they have the pieces, they have the speed. Haven't seen it consistently from Buffalo yet. I'm going to go with the home team. Give me Rochester to get a win.
This is another tough one for me as well, but I think this one comes down to scoring. There's only one team or two teams that are outscoring. Or no, sorry, there's only one team that's outscoring Rochester right now, and that's Albany. And that also means that Buffalo is below Rochester. This is going to be a game of offenses. I don't think too many defenses step up, but I think Rochester has enough scoring power to just outlast what is an insane Buffalo offense.
So we're on the same page so far across the board, which moves us to South Philadelphia. The Philadelphia Wings hosting the Saskatchewan Rush. Rush coming across the country once again. I'm excited for this game. I think it's going to be a good matchup. Good offensive prospects for the Rush with Zach Mans and Patrick Dodds to go against this Wings team. Hopefully Ryan Wagner is back for the Wings this week. He was out against the Riptide, so hopefully even on a short week he's able to play in this one because you could tell his impact was missed last week. But you already know where I'm going. I'm taking the Wings to bounce back. I think they have a sour taste in their mouth after that game and that performance against the Riptide, and they want to show out for the home crowd. So give me the Wings to get a win.
This one's tough for me. But I have to think that offense is going to bounce back. They've been pretty solid this year offensively. And that even stems back to last year where defense has kind of really been the question for Philadelphia this year. And their defense looks slightly better than what they did last year as well. So I expect the offense to bounce back. And Saskatchewan hasn't really shown enough offensively either outside of Matty Beers for me to trust. Zach Mans. Same number, different guy. Outside
it's
of
been
Zach
three
Mans,
guys for them. It's been Zach Mans, Robert Church, and Dodds.
Which we were expecting, but we need more. Mm-hmm. And until we see that, I can't trust them to beat a team like Philadelphia who's going to have 3, 4, 5, 6 guys scoring a couple points.
And it's a chance to see Philadelphia with a true transition game this week with, hopefully, Nick Rowlett suiting up for the Wings for the first time. So excited for Nicky on the Tracks debut. What number do you think Nick's going to wear?
37 or 73. He'll pick one of the two. Whichever. Like if 37's taken, he'll take 73. Or if 73
I don't think it is.
37.
I think both numbers are available, so
he might take 73 just to keep his pro numbers aligned, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him go back to 37.
we move to Long Island. The Riptide hosting Panther City. How you see this one playing out, Deej, between your New York Riptide and Panther City?
I got to trust my Riptide. After last week, the offense coming back alive. You know, you can get Teat cutting through. You can set him up top. You got Rock ROC being able to do his thing, slashing from the outside, and you have Larson Sundown in his office behind net. Plus, you know, you were able to get guys last week to step up here and there as well. I think the same thing happens this week against Panther City team that's in the same realm as New York, in that area that's just struggling to find wins right now. You got to take advantage of the momentum you have coming over from last week and get another win. I like the Riptide this week.
I think it's gonna be a close game. I think it's gonna come down to, can the Riptide match the speed of Panther City, which I think the Riptide are a more physical team than a finesse team, where Panther City is a finesse speed type of roster. But I'm gonna go with Panther City to get a win. I think they pull the upset on the road and take down the home team in this one. So our first non-aligned pick, I'm gonna go with Panther City to get a road victory. 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time also has Albany and Georgia, matchup of two top teams in the league. I don't know where this game will end up being at the end of the day. I don't know how it's going to play out. I don't know what's going to happen. But I do know whichever team I pick, the opposite will happen in this game, because that is just the status quo with these two teams whenever we talk about them. I like the way both of their offenses are playing. I think they have been spectacular to start this season. But I had egg on my face last week, and until I see somebody do it, I got to go with Albany.
I know people are probably wondering why this is so hard for us. But when you look at 3 of the 4 wins for Georgia right now, they're against teams that you would think would beat them 99 times out of 100. So maybe this is just that year where Georgia's going to beat everybody that they shouldn't beat. But then again, you look at Albany, who is just a bunch of dogs, zero pun intended. And it's hard to pick against them. And I'm going to have to rock with Albany, because I do think in a game where it's going to come down to simply who battles harder, nobody's out-battled Albany up until this point. And Georgia's going to give them a tough run at it, but I can't do it. I can't do it until someone does it. Just like you said, somebody's got to prove Albany's beatable before I can pick anybody to beat them.
And you know why Albany also gets the edge? They follow us on Twitter, which you all should be doing at OTB Laxpod. San Diego at Colorado, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. This game's always fun. It's always physical, and it is truly a Jekyll and Hyde game. It always feels like for Dylan Ward. He either has like his best game of the year or he gets chased early. Don't know why that is with San Diego, but it always feels that way. How do you see this former Western Conference rivalry, that is still a rivalry nonetheless, playing out, Deej, in Colorado?
This one's also really tough for me, because Colorado's first game of the week, they know they need some things to bounce back for them. They're going to be coming hard. They always play San Diego hard, but this is the first time Colorado's seen San Diego this year. And what almost always happens the first time Colorado sees San Diego? They chase Dylan Ward out of the cage and they beat him. So I'm not going to think anything different this time. I'm going to take San Diego, even though I small piece of me wants to pick Colorado to bounce back from last week.
I thought long and hard about this game. This is the first time we're going to get statistics on it, but we always try to track this, and we know our boy Hutton Jackson does as well. First time we're getting a team playing 2 games in a weekend, if I'm not mistaken. We got to see how that all shakes out, but typically it's never good for a team when you play twice in a weekend. And I think Colorado is in must-win mode right now. They're at home, so that's a benefit for them. I think Colorado sneaks out a win against a team coming off a game the previous night in Las Vegas. Not too crazy of travel, but, you know, it's a quick turnaround, and having games back-to-back days is tough no matter what sport you're playing, but especially box lacrosse. So I'm going to go Colorado, who has the rest advantage to win this one. We move to the final game of the weekend, 10 p.m. Eastern Time in Vancouver, where the Warriors host the Calgary Roughnecks. And we will see Big Kurt saying hello to his former team. And we will see Calgary saying, Warriors, come out to play. I think there's going to be a lot of emotion in this game. I think it's going to be a physical game. I'm going to go with Calgary, though, to get the win. I think they have just the skill set to get it done. They're going to have a chip on their shoulder for the guys that were coached by Kurt Malosky to beat their former coach who left them in free agency, if you will. I'm going to go Calgary to get a win.
I mean, you already know who I'm rocking. Ain't no question. My dogs up north finna take care of their business. I'm talking about Calgary Roughneck. This one easy. In all reality, I think there's some guys that are happy for Kurt, but realistically can't wait to beat him and shake his hand at the end and say, "Ha, got you, fucker," because that's just how guys have their talk. So, you know, I'm running it up with my guys in grayscale. Give me the Roughnecks to get another victory and start to train toward getting into the playoffs.
That was hilarious. Haha, got you, fucker. So there you have it. Our picks of the week look like this. We both have Toronto. We both have San Diego. We both have Rochester. We both have Philly. I've got Panther City. Deej, you've got New York. We both have Albany. I've got Colorado. You've got San Diego. And we both have Calgary. And those are our NLL Week 7 Beer Money Picks of the Week, brought to you by our pals at Kenwood Beer. I'm very excited about this next topic we're going to dive into, as the PLL Championship Series just got even more exciting, as we have the Women's Unleashed All-Star Game was announced this week that will take place at the St. James during Championship Series week. And we had the teams and rosters announced today, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Deej, have you seen the rosters yet?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know if I was going to break them all down for you and you didn't see them yet or not, but I'm stoked about this.
Yeah, I got a quick peek at them. Nothing outrageous.
I'm very excited that this, first of all, is happening. Second of all, it would have been funny if the PLL did the funniest thing ever and put Charlotte North on the South team, but she's championing on the North team, and this is what the rosters look like. The North roster, coached by Jen Adams, will feature Charlotte North, Emily Horishuk. Apologies if I butcher any of these names. Dempsey Arsenal, Meg Kinna, Courtney Taylor, Lauren Gilbert, Dana Doby, Hannah Dorney, Erica Evans, Rachel Hall, and Paulina DeFata. That is your North roster. Deej, we get to see Charlotte North play with Dana Doby, and I am yoked.
It's almost unfair. It's literally almost unfair. Like if you were to just get this roster first glance, you'd be like, why is this allowed? But then you're going to get into, and the people will hear in just a second, the roster that is going to be going against this, and you say, okay.
The North roster features 2 members of Team USA, 3 members of Team Canada, and then your South roster head coach will be Christy Foote, and it looks like this. We have Andy Aldave, Livy Rosenzweig, Ali Mastriani, Lizzie Colson, Marge Donovan, Scotty Rose Growney, Sammy Jo Tracy, Abby Bosco, Grace Griffin, Katie Glynn, and Taylor Moreno, featuring 4 members of Team USA and 1 member of Team Israel. Deej, your overall thoughts on the Unleashed All-Star Game, which will happen at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday, February 17th at the St. James.
That I just can't wait to see it. We should be there in person, so I'm just excited to see high-level lacrosse again. There's a special appreciation I have for women's lacrosse. And it doesn't come until those girls are in college. And there's no disrespect. It's just at the high school level, they're still working out the kinks and figuring the game out. But when they get to college and they play pro or national level lacrosse, some of the things that those women can do with a lacrosse stick are things that guys can't do with a pocket in their stick. So I only can imagine what it would be like if we were able to give those girls gear and give them a pocket and allow them to play a more similar style of lacrosse to what men play. And they would just continue to blow minds. They already blow minds the way it is. And that's the thing. That's the appreciation that I have, is just the skill level it takes for them to do the things they do with the game set up the way it is for them is next level. And going to be able to see that for the first time in person. I've only been able to watch like super high level women's lacrosse on TV, which is a different viewing experience than in person. So to be able to see high level women's lacrosse, that's going to be sixes kind of style, so even faster than what a normal game will be, is just going to be spectacular. That's what I'm most excited for, is to see this in person, but also to know that it's 2 very competitive teams that are equal in stature and are going to just provide a game that everybody who's tuning in to watch a women's lacrosse game will be more than pleased with.
And I think on top of that, hopefully we'll be there. It would be sick to finally get some women's lacrosse players potentially on the show as well. And also, this is in the official announcement. I think this is an even cooler aspect of this happening, because the All-Star Game is happening ahead of the final round-robin games on Saturday for the championship series. So that's the lead-in, which is very cool. But also, following the All-Star Game, Unleashed will host a clinic for youth players in grades 6 through 12 featuring instruction from participating All-Stars at South County High School from 3:30 to 5 p.m. I think that's an even cooler aspect, that you're getting a chance to learn from the best of the best on the planet in the women's game in your backyard and have an opportunity to take in an hour and a half of instruction and learning and basically a full-on clinic from some of the best to ever pick up a lacrosse stick in the women's game.
That's the piece that I think a lot of people in the community have been waiting on, not just that community, but all over. Like, everybody's like, okay, we're seeing, these leagues do a lot to help the pro game, but how are they helping grow the game at other levels? This is one of those ways. The NLL UnBOXed is one of those ways. Like PLL Junior
Academy.
Championships, PLL Academy, PLL Assist is all part of doing that. These bigger conglomerates are now starting to spread the resources down.
Even street lacrosse.
Time and energy, street lacrosse. Like, these are all the initiatives that I think a lot of people have been waiting to see for a long time. And now that they're here, people are hopefully going to be accepting to them. And like you said, that's just awesome. Like, I can't imagine had a lacrosse player come to my town earlier, I probably would have played earlier. Like we weren't getting these kind of opportunities as a young kid. And it's understandable. The game had a lot to get through before it could do that. But now that we are there, I love seeing that players are taking the time to go back and get into communities and go and teach kids and just give them opportunity to get a stick in their hands. Because that's what I say all the time. I'm like, I tell my kids, go out, at school and recruit. You guys do all the recruiting. Just tell them you want to hang out. Tell them you want to be there. Tell them it's fun, whatever. You get them here, I'll do the rest. Because all you have to do is get a stick into somebody's hands and they fall in love with the sport. It's that simple. So that's the biggest piece, is getting sticks in kids' hands. And that's what these kind of initiatives are going to do. I'm happy.
Yeah, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time since 2019 too that we're having the not crossover, but at the same time happening, pro women's, pro men's. Because in 2019 you had the WPLL at the time playing certain weekends as the PLL. And now you get this crossover again. It would be fun to have that happening. With the extended weekends now too, potentially for the PLL, to have, unleashed in some of these home markets, some of the neutral site markets potentially as well. Having another All-Star game during All-Star weekend would be very fun, to make All-Star weekend an actual weekend and not just one day. I'm super excited about this, and we're working to get some fun people on the pod in the next couple of weeks to discuss Champ Series. So you're going to be locked in to OTB, because we're going to be back on our guest grind, as well as in the next couple of weeks, Water Dogs head coach Andy Copeland will be on the flagship program of Underground Sports Philadelphia, the main pod. Andy Copeland's going to be making an appearance, so we're branching into the main show with lacrosse, because Cope's coming on the pod, Deej.
I love that. And the main pod is going to have to branch more into lacrosse, because lacrosse is coming to Philly. So,
which we already have. We have the Wings, and now we're going to have the Water Dogs, so we'll have both styles of lacrosse covered
it's
with
two-way,
fandom and
recruiting
the Philly fans to support the Dogs, just like they do the Wings. Also, got to give a shout out. It was my first home game this week too. I'll touch on that, but I'm stoked about Unleashed having their All-Star game at Champ Series. One final note: the Wings game day experience from last year to this year went from here to here. The concourse, much cleaner, and not in a sense of dirty and clean, but easier to navigate around. They opened up one of the stores to have all the merchandise in an actual store rather than just a pop-up in the middle of the concourse. Overall game day experience, I think, was elevated from a media perspective, fully elevated in terms of post-game press conference room, much bigger. Players have a mini stage to kind of step on for availability. They're live streaming the press conferences as well, so they'll be on TV. So if you're in the area watching on NBC Sports Philly, you probably hear my voice on there, which is hilarious. But overall, fantastic elevation for an already premier experience at the Wells Fargo Center. So kudos to the Wings. That's all we got for you guys this week. Make sure you're following us on the socials at OTB LaxPod. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads. We're 24 followers, I think, Deej, away from 500 on Instagram.
Okay.
I think we can get there pretty soon.
Very. Just keep posting.
Let's keep it rolling. We're kind of in an Instagram follower race with the main pod and F1 Underground. F1 posted 3 days ago that they hit 500, and then I clicked on their profile and they're 540. They're just growing at an exponential rate. It's insane.
Literally, I don't know how they do it. I do not know how they do it.
They got that Threads community, though, man. It's the most followed account in our company.
That's wild. I don't know how they do that.
But make sure you're following us on the socials at OTBLaxPod, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook.com/UndergroundSportsPHI. Follow Deej on Twitter at SCS_NextGreat. And follow him on Threads as well. Follow me on Twitter at KBIZZL311. And then you can also follow me on Threads. Subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple, Spotify. Let's get the Spotify followers continuing to grow as well. That really does help the show continue to elevate. Lets us do more dope stuff for and with you guys. And subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. It's where you get full video episodes of OTB every single week, clips, shorts, live streams. We'll probably have an OTB cast at some point this NLL season as well, so you want to tune into that, subscribe. Let's say once we hit 800 subscribers, we'll determine when the OTB cast will happen.
Okay.
I think that's attainable. And
Very
the sooner we get there, the sooner you get an OTB cast.
Common sense.
So subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're at 715 right now. Let's get to 800 before the end of January. Get your merch at phiapparel.co. Use code Underground for 10% off your order. And this has been a worldwide episode number 305 of the award-nominated, honorably mentioned, number 9 NCAA ranked, and of course viewable on YouTube, Outside the Box podcast, the official lacrosse podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. For Deej, I'm KB. Enjoy this weekend of NLL action. Stay tuned for these guest announcements, and we'll catch you guys next week. We're getting the heck up out of here. Peace.
Peace.